Introducing Traditional Torch Patina. In this video, Sculpt Nouveau will introduce a new patina designed to work on bronze, brass, copper, and steel. Here we're going to start with a copper sheet that's been sanded with a 400 grit sandpaper and then cleaned with the Sculpt Nouveau metal cleaner. Now normally we'll go in with the Scotch-Brite pad and scuff it up, but we're just going to spray it on, let it react for a few minutes, and then rinse it off. We don't want to add any additional scuff marks because on copper, since it's so transparent, it can show through. After we neutralize the metal cleaner by rinsing it with water, we'll go in with our torch patina. Now, here we're going to spray it on and just let it do its thing. Just like most traditionals, we're just going to spray it on and leave it for about a minute. Any longer than that and it can go too long and we'll start losing our purples and blues. And it really depends on what desired finish you want, depends on what you can get. But you can get anything ranging from those light kind of goldy tones to the dark browns up into purples and reds and blues. And you can see it's reacting, it just takes a little bit. It's designed to go slow so you'd have a little bit more of pinpointing time when you want to rinse it with water. Water is the neutralizing agent for this patina like the other traditional patinas. In some areas, I like to go back and hit it again and try and pop up that little area a little bit more. And you could probably do this with a brush and get some details if you wanted or certain areas. But I like the sporadicness that the spray bottle gives me. So I'll just go in and kind of get these edges that didn't react all that well and try and pop those up a little bit more. Now with many traditional patinas, you can let it react. And then when you see what you are liking, you can rinse it and stop the reaction. You don't want to do that with the torch because it will be too late. Once it starts going into that kind of reddish purplish phase, that's where you've got blues underneath. Once you rinse and dry it, there will be blues. So definitely do a test sample so you can kind of time it out and know what to look for. But ultimately, you want to rinse it probably before you actually think you'll need to. So here we're going to go ahead and we've got some water in our jug and we're just going to rinse over it and pour some water over it to, again, stop that acid. Otherwise, it's just going to continue going. And as we continue going, we can either go straight blue or we can start losing those blues as well. So we're going to pat dry that, and we don't want to wipe. And just like other traditional patinas, because we can smear and cause wipe marks. So we're just going to pat dry it. And you can see those blues already coming out. And so you can see what I kind of mean when it's wet. It kind of looks like a reddish, maybe a light brown. And here I'll fan wave it, try and dry it out a little bit more. And you can see that we've got all these light blues and we've got some purples and reds in here. And it turned out really nice. So at this point in the video, you've probably caught on that it's different patinas from our rainbow because there was no heat involved. Torch is a completely cold process, and that's how we can get our rainbow look as a cold process. The other interesting part with this is that we're going to clear it with ClearGuard. And traditionally, if you tried to do this with when you do the torch and the heat patina like that, or the rainbow, you can lose a lot of your blues and everything. And you can see a lot of the blue does disappear initially. But we'll show you at the end of the video the finished piece. And you'll see a lot of those blues actually come back. It just kind of darkens at first. You can still go with color lock, and it'll help kind of retain a little bit more. But the ClearGuard works just fine with the torch. Now, here we have a sheet of steel on 180 grit sandpaper with the Sculpt Nouveau metal cleaner and a Scotch-Brite pad. We're going to use the copper plating to get it all coppery, and then we're going to go in with the torch. So you can see that in this video we applied the copper plating, and I'm not rinsing it. I'm letting it be even standing on the surface, and I'm going to hit it straight with the torch. And this doesn't work on all patinas, mind you. This is just kind of works for torch, but you can see those colors coming right out. And same thing, I'm going to rinse it before it goes too much. It definitely can go too much. It can go brown and black really fast, so you might even suggest diluting it with some distilled water if you want it to move slower. So again, we're going to pat dry after it's been neutralized, and let it air dry a little bit, and then we'll try and get a clear coat on it. The clear guard when we get on this one is the clear guard satin, and I think it takes less of an effect on the piece as it did on the copper. It seems to not kind of diminish those blues quite as much. It kind of pops everything up a little bit. So it's a nice effect. And again, those blues that do originally darken do kind of come back a little bit more, but you can see most of them do retain. So again, copper plating, and this has really become a fun one to work with in the sense that it's a little bit different each time. You know what you can expect, so it's not completely different, but in the same sense that I can do the same process twice and have two pieces that are similar in color but completely different in pattern, and that's really cool and fun. And here you can see I'm kind of focusing on that area that hadn't reacted. I'm going a little bit more, and ultimately it's a fun one because you're not really sure what you're going to get, but you know kind of the end result of where you're going to be. And for this one, we're actually going to clear it with the color lock. And remember, color lock is more like a gloss, whereas clear guard satin is a satin. But we're going to put the two pictures side by side so you can kind of see the differences there. The color lock definitely does pop the colors out a little bit more. But remember, you do need to go over the top with something else to help the protection value of that. So either clear guard satin or Everclear gloss will go over the top of the color lock. If you try and do the Torch Patina on the dried copper plate, you'll get more browns and blacks, not necessarily these blues. And also, make sure that you get all the excess water off of the surface once dried. Otherwise, it can cause rust rather fast. So we did a couple samples so you can see more options. And here we have the traditional torch. On the left-hand side, I did 2 coats. Right-hand side, 1 coat. And again, here's the same thing, copper plating on steel, and then the Torch Patina. Left side has color lock, right side has clear guard satin. Traditional Torch Patina is now available at www.sculptnouveau.com.